this nice campus. Reminds me of all those great college traditions, like homecoming.
We've got chicks for sale.
Getting wasted. Experimenting.
Touch my chest.
Meeting new people.
Now touch her.
Making homemade sex tapes in your dorm room.
Come on, it'll be fun.
Oh, I don't think so.
And of course, the most time-honored tradition of all. The road trip.
Tell me you mailed the Beth tape to Tiffany.
I have to get to that tape before my girlfriend gets back to her school.
You coming? What else am I gonna do? Stay here and learn? Road trip.
All right, welcome to Dual Redundancy, the only podcast where you can hear all the latest about a 20-year-old teen comedy film from too many road trippers with exactly the same outdated opinions. I am one of those hosts, David Allen, and another one is
John Berwick, and a third one is
Kyle Bridger. I would say that I'm going to do it this way. Dave is Tom Green to John's mouse to I am the snake.
Oh, okay here. Let's see. Does it end well for anyone in this group? I don't know.
No, not at all.
Not at all. Yeah, so Tom tries to feed the mouse, which is John, to the snake, which is you. You bite my arm, you swing around, and man, everyone gets hurt in this road trip.
You're forgetting one crucial part of this, though, is that the mouse goes in Tom Green's mouth.
Oh, yeah, we're going to talk about that because I don't know how he did that without guessing he really did that. Was PETA on board on that one? I don't know. I don't know.
We can talk about it later.
We will. We got a lot to talk about tonight, and we're spending the full hour or so on Road Trip, the 20th anniversary of Road Trip. Movie anniversaries are kind of a fun thing we do here. We've done Back to the Future, Die Hard, and actually two other films that are actually having their milestone anniversaries this week. Ferris Bueller's Day Off, I believe it's Thursday. Ghostbusters was yesterday. We've talked about all those films. And now those can go from actually for like 90 minutes to 2 hours when John and I talk about them. How long will we go on Road Trip tonight? Let's find out. They weren't good with time on Road Trip. They elongated that drive. So hopefully we don't fall into the same trap they did. But Road Trip, for those who don't know, tells the story of four college buddies who embark on a road trip to retrieve an illicit tape mistakenly mailed to a female friend. It is actually the directorial debut of Todd Phillips, who would go on to direct Old School, The Hangover, and Joker, the latter of which earned him an Academy Award for Best Director, or nomination for Best Director.
Yeah.
Road Trip came out May 19th, 2000, with $15 million, or a budget of $16 million. It made $15 million that first weekend. It would go to make $68.5 million domestic for a grand total of about $120 million worldwide. It was actually number 3 at the box office opening weekend, behind Dinosaur in the third week of Gladiator.
Dinosaur? What is that?
Some Disney CGI thing that, I don't know, hasn't held up as much as Road Trip.
It was like The Land Before Time? Is that what it was?
Something, a live action version of that. And then, let's see here. Road Trip currently has a 58% on Rotten Tomatoes. We all saw it. We're all going to be breaking down scene by scene, character by character here. But I want to start off with Kyle. Any early memories of seeing Road Trip before this, going back to your childhood?
I just remember seeing it, and I might have gotten the movie from an older sibling because I probably shouldn't have been watching it if at the time I was watching it. And I remember watching it early on, and I think we're going to talk about it. But the scene that I always think of, because I probably had no idea like what was going on in the other scenes. So the scene that made me laugh the most was the car scene when I was little, where they have to jump the car.
Oh, I was gonna say which car scene because they're in it's a road trip. They're in the car quite a bit of time.
Well, when they have to jump the car.
Oh, okay, when they have to jump the car. I was worried
Yeah.
where you were gonna go with what scene you would remember as a 12-year-old Kyle or
Yeah.
whatever it was here. What about you, John? Any early memories of road trip or even comedies from the early 2000s? That whole kind of teen comedy scene.
Wasn't really into it. I mean, the
into
first
it.
time I saw this movie was this weekend, so
What? Wow.
I never saw it. Never watched it.
Wow, that's crazy. That's cool though.
Yeah, I'm trying to remember. I feel like I saw it bits and pieces probably as a kid when maybe it came out, but then I think I saw it again probably in college when I heard it. We'll talk about it. It takes place, quote unquote, at Ithaca College, but it's
Ithaca University.
Yeah, well, Ithaca College, University of Ithaca,
Yeah.
whatever. But I don't know. I feel like it's gonna be interesting for John because I was talking with you, Kyle, last night. I feel like a lot of these movies from that time period, unless you saw it when it came out, like a Billy Madison or a Big Daddy or American Pie, any of those kind of movies, I wonder if it would even hold up because it's just so dumb and goofy.
Yeah,
But when you were
yeah.
9, 10, 11 years old, it works.
Yeah.
So I don't know. I did ask on Twitter. I asked for their, people's thoughts on the film, how well they think it holds up. And I put the over under the percentage at 15%. I said, okay, over under is going to hold up 15%. And we actually have our first comment here, Swole Daddy, which is at Mark D. Swolstow. I believe he is the new one of the new hosts of the Boyle and Rojas podcast. We're gonna have to change the name there to include Swole Daddy. But he said, quote, "The movie is a classic. It didn't hold up as well as I remembered, but still very enjoyable. I will go with the unprecedented prediction of 25%. So I'm going to ask Kyle, what do you think the percentage is here? How much did it hold up on the second viewing last night? Or
I'm perpetually a 13-year-old boy when it comes to maturity. So to me, I would give it above the 25%. I would give it about that because there are some parts where you're like, oh boy, that did not, and very, very early on. But a lot of the jokes were still there. They were funny and they weren't too distasteful. So, but we are talking about a movie that's, it is. We were watching the X-rated or whatever.
the unrated.
Yeah, the unrated version. So, you get what you're going to get, but I still think it probably holds up to the 25%, maybe more to me.
All right, John, how do you think it held up on a first viewing?
Ooh, that was a little rough. There was some stuff in there that I agree would not be passable at all today.
Yeah, there are a couple of potholes in this one. Yeah, I'd say I will admit there was a few times I definitely I couldn't help it. I laughed. There's just some dumb humor, but yeah, there is some stuff that doesn't hold up. We will touch on that as we go through the movie here. We should jump right into the movie. Let's get started here. It starts off with Tom Green. He plays Barry Manilow. Yeah.
It's already started. It's so stupid.
He's a student of 8 years and now a tour guide, which is kind of the framing device for the movie. He's kind of giving the, quote, greatest story ever told to a tour group, saying, doesn't anything exciting here happen here? He really is in his own movie, though. He actually stays behind from the road trip. I don't know if I don't know if that decision works because there's a lot of him just trying to feed the snake, the mouse here. That is so much. They go back to it so many times. And for me, every time they did that, it kind of slowed the movie down.
Yeah.
I just thought I just saw myself taking my phone out. I'm like, again, trying to feed the mouse, it's like, I don't know.
I think that's probably one of those things where it held up when I guess Tom Green was more relevant in the pop culture. But he always had, if I remember correctly, Tom Green was always that crazy guy.
Yeah.
And I think he was just filling that stereotype in because I remember him doing stuff weird stuff on MTV, if I remember correctly. But yeah, I think it was one of those things where maybe back in the day it felt a little bit more like, because you saw what Tom Green did on MTV or whatever in the 2000s, and you're like, oh my God, you're watching him do this crazy stuff. So, but I even remember watching it back in the day thinking like, it's just slowing this sucker down. But
Yeah, there is so much of it. And it's crazy it's slowing it down because the movie, the unrated version we watched, is a brisk 95 minutes. Like,
yeah,
they're really we're stretching some of these scenes out to fill up a 90-minute runtime. Yeah, I think it is kind of like the Johnny Knoxville like jackass type stunt here. This is like he's known for this. We're gonna do this.
yeah,
That's what he does, and he went for it because he looks like that's a live mouse. I don't know if they had the CGI back then, but there's a point there that looks pretty real. And I'm sure they did a cutaway, so then it's like a robotic one or something that moves its tail. But there's a point there. It looks real.
yeah. When it's like dangling right there on his lip, or when he's like bringing it out, it definitely looks real, and they did a good job. If it's not, and I mean, they had that animal humane thing at the end of the movie, so I'm guessing that means that he didn't shove a mouse in his mouth, but who knows?
I hope not. Yeah. John, what did you think? Real mouse?
It looked real enough to me. I mean,
Yeah, man, because I think it's one of those things where it's real going in, and then they cut to a fake one, and then like it's like the reverse angle again when he's like pulling it out. It's real. It's like, but still,
oh my
man.
God. Yeah.
Even just holding it would be just hard for me. I feel like to make it actually get the tail, like it's.
Yeah, that's an interesting.
Where's the Oscar campaign for Tom Green for this?
I know. It's high up there with Leonardo DiCaprio's Revenant.
Oh man. Let's see. Nick Rojas sent in a message about Tom Green. He said, quote, "A movie with Tom Green and it automatically feels dated. No offense to Tom Green." So he'll set the over under at 10%. He also says, shout out to the non-existent Ithaca U. I remember enjoying the movie freshman year of college. Yeah.
I mean, he's right about Tom Green. Like I said, I just remember seeing him on MTV. But what has that guy done since then?
Celebrity and was Big Brother 2.
Was it his claim to fame that he like didn't like he doesn't have one testicle or something?
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah,
I think so.
I think that's kind of fed into whatever lore.
It's that he dated Drew Barrymore for a while, and then what was it? Would you like some sausages? Would you like?
Oh,
Daddy, would you like some sausage?
Yeah. Oh man. Well, let's see here. Yeah, so let's talk a little bit about Ithaca U, University of Ithaca. We are Ithaca College grads here, the alumni of Ithaca College. This film, quote unquote, takes place at Ithaca College. Here it's Ithaca University, but filming was actually at quite a few different places: the Woodrow Academy, Georgia Tech, Emory University, the University of Georgia, and that flyover opening shot is actually Harvard. So none of it took place. It was all like Georgia instead of upstate New York. But do you see any parallels there, Kyle, with University of Ithaca and Ithaca College?
Well, I think what I read about this was that it's kind of like an amalgamation of Ithaca College and Cornell University, which I could see a little bit more of, considering that opening shot looks more like an Ivy League school than kind of Ithaca College does. But I think it's more Ithaca in name than anything else. I mean, there's no real parallels as far as if you've ever been to Ithaca, like the terrain of that school. So
yeah, the terrain is not there. I think it's just because they wanted the I guess something like up the northeast, so because we're gonna end up going south. They want something that's manageable. I mean, I'm surprised they didn't do the cross country, California to New York.
I mean, it probably has something to do with the guys went to Ithaca, so I'm sure they.
Well, yeah. We'll get to that a little bit with Todd Phillips here, but it does remind me about another Todd Phillips film, and it's like almost the early versions of it, if you will, of The Hangover. I think it's like I feel like he's testing it here of that kind of formula of the foursome. I'm going to go Seann William Scott is the Bradley Cooper, the cool guy.
Mm-hmm.
DJ Qualls is tough, but I think he's a little bit of the Ed Helms because he's always worried about his parents, while like Ed was always worried about his like girlfriend and what she thought, and they're always using his money and stuff like that. And then of course the main guy, Josh, is the Doug. Kind of realize, we could probably lose Doug. He's not that. Josh wasn't all that great of a character. We'll get to that.
Yeah.
And I feel like Zach Galifianakis is Tom Green, and they didn't realize yet that it's like you need the Zach Galifianakis with you. Send Josh, to take care of the snake. Who cares about him, really?
Yeah.
But I think those are like the early seeds of the Hangover here in his first film.
Yep. I can agree with that. Agree with that a lot.
So yeah, I'll say let's talk a little bit about Josh then, because so he's played by Breckin Meyer. And I gotta first ask you, Kyle, how old is Josh here? Freshman Josh.
I know. That's the first thing we see. And when you're younger, you don't realize it because everybody in your head is just like looks older. So it's like, oh, you can pass for it. Everyone in this film looks like they're like 28, 29 years old. It's insane. It's wild. But it's like painfully obvious here. But talk about Breckin Meyer. He was like in every 90s, early 2000s movie about this kind of thing. It was just like they kept recasting these guys. Same with Seann William Scott.
Yeah,
it was like
Seann William Scott was everywhere.
Typecast, the same thing. And the reason is because he does so well with it. It's like, how could you not? I mean, to me, well, we'll get off that. But as far as Josh, I mean, he was boring. He was just a straight man for the entire thing.
Yeah, I looked up here. He's 46 now. So doing some math, he's probably 25 when they were shooting this.
Yeah.
But yeah, let's see. Taco Chili is saying Franklin and Bash. So I'm guessing he's on Franklin and Bash. Breckin Meyer.
Yeah.
Is he Franklin or is he Bash? I don't know. I don't know. But he's dating Tiffany. They've been childhood friends turned lovers here. I was actually surprised with this because when I see that they're like 6 years old when they're meeting and they're playing and stuff, I'm like, how is he not friend zoned? I just assume like, come on, you're in the friend zone. You're never getting out of that, buddy. Sorry.
Yep. Like she would go to him with all of her like conquests or be like, tell me what this guy's thinking. Not into him at all.
Yeah. But a little bit of a rocky relationship because they are separated. University of Austin, Ithaca, hasn't been returning his calls a little bit. He's having these dreams about her with other men. I can't say the full quote. This is not a clean podcast on iTunes this week, but even still,
it's
this
unrated.
First quote, she did something so hard that it took her 2 birth control pills. She had to take 2 of them because something happened so hard, man.
Oh my God, it's so dumb.
I'm not a doctor, but I don't think that's related.
Yeah, no, I don't think that's how that works.
No, I don't think so either. But Josh immediately pretty much cheats on her here. He goes to a party where Seann William Scott is auctioning off women, and that's the first sign where not holding up.
Yeah, that's the one for me. Oh my God. Yeah. I mean, I don't know. I'm sure in some frat houses in, the southeast of America is doing that. So I don't know.
Yeah, because it's one of those like, because nowadays like I've seen it like in other shows where it's like a charity auction. It's like, oh, you get to have the night. It's mostly just like dinner to be friends or whatever. It's not like what they're doing here, where, as one would say, she's not a happy meal. That's from the Seann William Scott character here, but it's we got Tiffany and we got Josh. They're together here, and well, or is it no? I'm
Beth.
Beth is there because it's he called Tiffany's roommate in Austin another night, not there, so immediately he's like, I'm gonna cheat. Pretty much, he goes right to it, and he doesn't do it one time. Not twice, but 3 times over the course of that night there. And of course, they film it.
Yeah, that's the part to me. I mean, for first time we're talking you're going full Girls Gone Wild on this thing.
I don't know.
That's insane to me.
That is very insane. Yeah, college, right? I guess I don't know.
I know.
I feel like though back in 2000, like the camera was such like almost like a novelty to own like your own digital camera. So it was kind of like, everyone would want to just play around with it, just filming anything, filming stupid stuff. Nowadays, obviously, everyone has a camera in their pocket.
Yeah.
So it's a little bit different here. But yeah, I was very surprised. And yeah, she's not too worried because it's not digital. It's like, oh, for him to have to share that, it's going to be quite a bit of work to transfer those tapes. But the tape is accidentally sent out Friday morning. And I got to ask, what do you, the logic here? I know it's a movie here, but he took that one, the sex tape, out of the camera. Well, first he took the tape out that he was filming for his girlfriend. He took that one out. He did the Beth one, or the sexy time in the camera. Then he takes that one out, leaves it, and puts the one he meant for his girlfriend back in the camera. And then they take the one that was on the table and put that, which is the sex tape, and mail it off. He's asking for it here. Why do he kept putting it in and out?
Yeah.
He kept switching them like the cups with the marble. Like,
not only that, but somewhere in there, well, we'll get to that later. There's more events that happen to that tape in between there.
It's going back and forth.
And
you're
also,
gonna leave it on top of the envelope. Like, come on, label that thing.
Also, he goes back and he tells his friends to mail it for him, which, based on what was on the video, either way, it's equally embarrassing.
Yeah.
Your friends see you having sex with somebody, or they see you in this state where you're like singing these goofy songs to your girlfriend. It's like, you mail that yourself.
Yeah.
You mail that clearly for yourself. You do not have your friends, because they're going to watch it.
Yeah. And like, he went to class and he comes back and he would have seen the envelope still there because he put the tape that he later has sex with on top of the envelope, like on that desk area. So like, he knows the tape is still not sent out. He was asking for it. But then you also bring up, Kyle, that his buddies are going to watch this tape. And I got to ask, like, sure, there is a naked woman on that tape, but do you really want to see your best friend doing stuff? Like, they were all so excited. We got to watch this tape. We got to watch it. No offense, Kyle, John. I don't want to see that. I don't want to see that. I'm sorry.
You don't want to see my moves, dude?
No, I don't.
No.
But, yeah.
Another thing with the friends is, holy cow, does he have a huge room?
Yeah.
I remember the room I had freshman year was maybe a quarter that size, and I shared it with somebody.
Yeah.
He has enough room for a snake, his bed, a TV, enough to set up cameras. He's got this giant room.
Yeah.
That I didn't see a second bed. His friend keeps his snake in his room. Like,
that's a weird one to me.
Yeah.
There's just like a lot of weird things going on with that room too.
Yeah, no, I completely agree with you there. But yeah, this tape gets sent out. And then, of course, as soon as we realize the tape is out, Tiffany calls. Her grandfather died. Doesn't tell the roommate, doesn't tell the boyfriend. It's like, oh, nope, sorry, I'm going to take off, go into hiding for a week or two. Found that strange, but she's there. She didn't cheat. And now Josh did. So now they have to do a road trip to get this tape. So we're off. Here we go. The timeline isn't great already because we're leaving on a Friday morning. And from Ithaca to Austin, it's 1,700 miles, which is a 26-hour drive.
If you drove straight through.
Somehow it takes them until Monday morning to get there.
Okay.
And you brought this up as well, Kyle. What time of the year is it? Because they're talking about midterms, but they're also talking about the last week of freshman year.
Yeah.
What is it? When is it?
Yeah. So they're talking about midterm, but because he has to get a certain grade to pass the class, but you really don't worry about that until the finals. So I don't know what's going on there. It doesn't really add up.
Yeah. No, I don't understand the actual time period, and I guess we're also supposed to assume, I mean, as these guys are from Ithaca, they should know there's really only about a week or two that's nice in Ithaca. And it's
Yeah.
like the first week of classes and the very last week of classes in May. Like that's it. There's no other time that it's nice out. It's just always cold and snowy and yeah. So I guess I'm assuming it's the end, and midterm is just, I don't know, the term they're using for this. Let's hear. We're off. Seann William Scott is driving EL. He gives a bunch of rules here. I'm going to go through these rules where he's saying, you know, Josh, it's okay. Cheating is okay. A lot of, I think, Sean's lessons in this movie don't hold up. Don't take these, you know, life lessons down, kids. First, before he even gets to the rules, he says, college is a time to take advantage of young girls, and that time is dwindling. Nope. Leaving that. Nope.
Oh my God.
But here's his rules. We'll say his 3 rules, and then I'll get your guys' thoughts. Well, if it's different area codes or even different states, doesn't count. 2 girls at the same time, they cancel each other out. And then if you're too wasted to remember, didn't really take place.
I have heard that excuse.
Yeah, but in that one does not hold up as well.
No,
Definitely not that one. But yeah, different area code, different states. I mean, because how does that work with college? Because technically, both of them are going to be in different area codes.
Yeah,
all the time from their hometown.
And area codes, like, that's not a big margin. I mean, that's not a big margin at all. So, I mean, in some places you could go down the street and you're in a different area code. Yeah. So, yeah, I don't know.
Or
what is it? What is next? The congressional districts? Like,
yeah.
I lived in the border of Jersey growing up. It was a 2-block walk.
Mm-hmm.
You can walk 2 minutes. Oh, I'm in New York, baby. It's like, I'm in Jersey, back and forth. Yeah. So that's Seann William Scott. What about DJ Qualls here? Kyle.
Oh my gosh.
He plays Kyle. I gotta say, our main character is the guy we're supposed to be rooting for here, Josh. He's pretty much a jerk. Not only did he cheat already 3 times, but he treats Kyle here. I mean, just like first they borrow and destroy his dad's car, and then they're maxing out his credit card too. I mean, obviously this is the trope of, he's just this geeky guy that just wants to be part of the group, and he'll do anything for the cool guys. But what do you think of the DJ Qualls Kyle character?
I mean, it brings a different vibe to the group. That's why I think you have to have a character like that, because there's some kind of juxtaposition there. There's definitely some conflict there. Otherwise, without it, it's just some bros on like a road trip, and they're just gonna, F their way down there kind of thing,
Yeah. But yeah, I always feel bad for him, and it's just another instance like, why do we care about this Josh character? Like, again, he's the main character. He's Breckin Meyer. We're supposed to root for him, but it's like, this guy's a jerk. I don't like him.
But I mean, with that said, there's got to be some relatability there in the sense that when it comes time and the idea of her watching his tape, that the dream that he has there later on in the movie, like I was like, oh my God, no. Like just that alone was enough for me to be like, oh my God.
Yeah.
Because I'm going to say in a way, I bet we've all been in some kind of situation where we were like, oh my God, I hope somebody doesn't find this out or something like that. Skeletons in the closet kind of thing.
I kind of felt the same way, Kyle, except more for her than for him. You know what I mean? Like she's the innocent party here, and her grandfather died.
Just died too. Come on.
Oh yeah.
It's like how much
salt in the wounds.
Oh my God.
But let's see here. So they're speaking of this broken car. They have this shortcut over a bridge, They go up, they fly over that thing, but they destroy it. And I will say, it reminds me of a quick road trip story of our own Kyle. Kyle,
Oh my
we
God.
did a road trip across the country, from close to Ithaca to Los Angeles. And I will say, man, there was a time I was behind the wheel, and we pulled off the interstate. We were going somewhere. I feel like
You're
somewhere
going to get gas.
We're going to get
in,
gas,
like North Dakota or something.
and we were going, and it's just like open, and like I think it was one of those classic almost movie scenes where I'm like, I'm arguing with you, you're arguing with me. We start like just turn to each other and argue, and then all of a sudden, like we're boom, and we're just like,
It was the biggest hole.
this weird divot, like in the road, a giant V, man.
It was like this. I'm like, who created a road like this? It was like ba-doom, right?
And you gotta imagine, not only am I terrified that one, I ruined someone else's car, but then two, we're in whatever South Dakota.
Yeah.
Where are we gonna go?
Yeah.
Like it's
exactly
just the two of us,
oh
man.
My God.
Yeah. But thankfully we made it. That car made it a couple times across the country, right?
Yeah. So once there, once back.
But yeah. So they have some other road trip shenanigans along the way. Many of these, not sure how they hold up. I'll run through them here, and then we can talk about some of them. EL tricking a blind woman into stealing a school bus.
Oh my God, dude.
4 white guys pretending to be in an all-black fraternity. And then we have, quote, milking the prostate, which they were trying to get some money for a donation that they make.
Mm-hmm.
Any thoughts on any of those scenes?
I mean, the blind one is like cringy.
Yeah.
The blind scene is cringy. That's a tough one. But the milking the prostate, I feel like I've seen comedians do that. I think like Jim Norton, a comedian, does something like that.
What, demonstration on stage?
Yes, of course. Exactly.
What are you talking about? He does
no, like he talks about that kind of thing. So I don't think it's like crazy. Like the whole, I mean, this whole movie is absurd, but I mean, just like, I don't like, to me, that's not like the wildest thing that happens, but, and then the DJ Qualls character with the big woman,
with Rhonda.
Yeah, Rhonda. I mean, good for him. Good for him.
Yeah, he loses his virginity there. He takes home a souvenir, and all of a sudden he's cool now. It's like all of a sudden the next day, boom. That's the life lesson we learned. It's like, oh, you're a loser, and then you have sex. Now you're the cool guy.
That didn't happen when you lost your virginity, dude.
Still waiting. Still waiting for that coolness to kick in. I'm waiting one of these days. But yeah, oh man. I will say one of the craziest scenes, I have to assume it's in the unrated version. I'm not sure which version John watched, but I'm assuming it has to be in only this version. Tom Green is, of course, telling the story to the tour group here. And at one point, like, I like how sometimes like the tour group will interrupt him, and then it's like this unreliable narrator. And he's talking about how all the girls are talking to each other. And of course, they're all topless. And one of the people are like, girls don't do that. And he's like, yes, they do. It's like, it's my story. They did that. Like, and man, okay, not only is the entire scene with all the women in the background, and they have mirrors, so you even see more women.
Yeah.
But there's a point where we zoom in to their chest, and then we stay on different chests as they're talking. And I'm like, who's direct? I mean, really? Come on.
I know.
Can we get any more blatant with this?
I know. It's absurd. It is absurd.
Yeah.
It's when those comedies though were trying to like push the boundary. It felt like HBO just putting on nudity just so that they can do it, you know? It's just like, oh, X-rated, if you come watch our movie, we have nudity kind of thing, you know?
Yeah, like on the DVD cover, I was talking with John before the show starts. Why is every single person in the DVD cover like naked except for Tom Green? Every single one of them.
Yeah.
And it's like, When did that happen? When did what was it Ruben, the other guy? Like, when did he get naked? Like,
Yeah.
why is he next to Beth? Like, I don't understand this at all. But
And I love how they're showing how unrated it is by putting an 8 in the title.
Yeah. Because
So
it's a license
unrated.
plate. It's UNR8D, the version you couldn't see in theaters. Yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah. Let's see. Let's talk about some of the cameos we get in this. We have Matt Walsh. He's a crime scene photographer.
Yeah.
Andy Dick is a hotel manager.
Mm-hmm.
One of the ones I liked here, Horatio Sands. I didn't even realize it was him.
Yeah.
Throwing the French toast around after that, after Kyle sends it back. I got to admit, I was really, really impressed. Like, was the toast CGI'd? Because he's like throwing it, and it's like the popcorn chick, where you throw the popcorn and it lands in your mouth. He's doing it in the front. He's doing it in the back.
Yep.
Some aim Horatio had there.
Yeah. It was beautiful. It was perfection, honestly. Yeah. And then of course it gets sent back to DJ Qualls, I feel like this is a common trope now. It's hard to delineate. It's now like cliche, but it's like at that time, was it? You know what I mean? Like doing that
gross
food thing. Yeah. Like now it's like overdone, but back then I'm like, was it, or was it groundbreaking? I don't know. Kind of thing.
Groundbreaking and road trip. Never thought those would be in the same sentence there.
Yeah.
Let's see. One of the cameos we definitely have to talk about is Todd Phillips. Beth is riding back from Boston, is on a bus here. Her feet are out, and her toes are nearly in the mouth of Todd Phillips.
I think it is.
Was it?
I think he officially did it. Yeah.
This again, we're gonna put, let's see. I don't want to disparage anyone here. He has a weird cameo fetish. If we look at some of his other cameos,
no.
We're doing in The Hangover. He's seen getting oral sex in an elevator. In Old School, he is, quote, credited on IMDb as gangbang guy. So I'll leave it at that. I don't know what he was doing in Joker. I didn't see if he was a cameo in Joker. But I don't know. Man. This is weird, especially as a director.
Yeah. Because you're in a position of power, and then you're like directing yourself, getting a blowjob or whatever,
Yeah.
That's not good.
No.
I mean, it's like the Quentin Tarantino thing with the feet. It's like, oh God, here we go. Here we go with the feet.
At least from what I remember of Quentin's filmography, I don't know if he ever actually puts any of those feet in his mouth. That's the one thing. I'm not sure. I would have to rewatch some of his movies.
Yeah.
I don't think he's doing that, at least. But
you know what I'm also thinking about too, and I've been thinking about this recently with comedies in general. Because I mean, we've done some like dumb acting in student projects and stuff like that, but it's like comedy.
How dare you? I won a Just Dessert Award probably for my acting on ICTV.
Oh, okay. But comedy is one of those things where it's like all about timing and everything, and you think about how many takes you do it, where it gets to be like the 50th take, and you're like, is this funny anymore? Like. Me sticking or this girl sticking her feet in my mouth. Is this funny anymore? Like, I don't know. You know what I'm saying? Ugh.
Yeah. Well,
also, I want to say about Todd Phillips in that he weirdly reminds me of Christopher Lloyd with that hair, with that
Christopher Lloyd. Didn't he have like a like a curly wig?
But he looked like Christopher Lloyd to me. I don't know why.
John, did you see that? I don't know.
Like a young Christopher Lloyd.
I don't know. I'll have to look back on that, because I mean, again, I only know Christopher Lloyd really from
Back to
Taxi,
the
but I mean Back to the Future, obviously. But I feel like even in Taxi, he had gray hair, and that was the 70s. Like, when was a young Christopher Lloyd? Like, that must have been.
I'm gonna look
1922.
Ish up.
Oh man. Yeah, definitely look that up and see if we can get a side by side of. Let's see here, but Todd Phillips and Scott Armstrong, the writer, both went to Ithaca College actually, and the movie is partly based on their time there. again, I hope it was all the good stuff from, and not whatever he's doing on this bus. But all right, let's see. Sunday, we've made it to Sunday, and they're somehow only going from Memphis to Austin now, which is just 9 hours. But they still need a crash or a place to crash for the night, and they go to Tom Green's grandparents. I'm gonna ask you guys' opinion on the scene. This scene with the grandpa and the dog, that's like where the grandfather is high and he's thinking the dog's talking to him. This didn't really work for me at all, and I almost forgot completely about it until I was doing a rundown of the movie. I almost completely forgot about this scene. Did this scene work? Like, I don't know. I just feel like it's almost out of place. But
work in what sense? I think it was to give. I think the scene was meant to give. I think Ruben is his character, because the Ruben's character doesn't really do jack in the entire movie besides ask for pot with Andy Dick's character. So I think it was supposed to round that out and give him more of a purpose. But I don't know if it was with that inspiring speech of being about stop being a pansy and be more cock and balls or whatever he said.
I mean, because spoiler alert for the end of the film, he ends up making a strain of weed that is undetectable on tests. So this may have been the seed of the idea here. Who knows? But there was also a weird thing that he brings up to Andy Dick's character, where it's like, again, he is this young guy, probably already just on the, like, could they even rent a hotel room? Like, I don't even know.
Well, it's a motel.
That's true. But like, it's like, okay, this manager, you're gonna ask him for drugs, which definitely were not, illegal. Then so it's like, is that the best look? And then Andy Dick's line afterwards, it was like something like, I can't get you that, but I can get you 11-year-old prostitute. And I'm like, what?
I think it was meant to be a joke
it's a joke, but like still.
And then he says a couple of other things like, I don't remember, like, oh, do you need I don't know. I don't remember what else he said, but yeah.
Okay, well, here we go. Monday morning, the package has arrived and we're at the mailroom. And again, I feel like Josh is kind of a dick to the guy he's about to ask a favor for. You would think he'd be overly nice, but instead of, he's like closing the laptop, he's like, I need this right now. And of course, they get into this giant fight. DJ Qualls' dad somehow makes it there. They weren't stopping along. They made it before they did, pretty much. Whips out a gun, and it's just chaos here at the end.
Let's just say that's one of the funnier moments, though, when he's just like, Rah! Turns around.
He almost shoots Tiffany. Like, Tiffany would have been dead.
Yeah, she would have been dead.
Problem solved.
Problem solved.
Problem solved.
Yeah, wouldn't have to worry about that tape. But we find out, though, that Tiffany actually cheated as well. But that was back when they were 14 years old at camp. And there was different area codes. She even brings it up. Different area codes. Doesn't matter. The tape.
But, to me, hang on. Go back to the area codes thing. I've never heard of that, even before this film.
Dumb.
And it not only does it get brought up once, but twice. It's like a callback to an earlier joke that doesn't play. It's so weird. Anyways.
But the tape is put in. It looks like the end for Tiffany and Josh. But Tom Green has taped over the incriminating part. And it was all for nothing. I know, John, you were bringing this up at the beginning. How does this timeline work?
Where in the timeline between him waking up and him going to take a shower and then his friends come over, did Tom have time to like film this? I guess it must have been right. Well, no, because it was already shipped at that point.
It was shipped Friday morning because they forgot Thursday before the party, and he went to class, and they said, no, we did it that morning because it had to be in the morning because it had to be after the two of them had sex. But like, again, it's also Thursday night. They were at this giant party. Somehow the friends remembered to go to the post office bright and early in the morning.
Yeah.
But there was a lot of that exchanging of the tape back and forth for, why did Tom Green take the sex tape out, put in the Tiffany tape in, record over himself. Like it's this whole, I don't know, it's all convenience for the plot.
Yeah, of course. There was a lot of that going on in this film.
Yeah. But let's see. Beth calls regardless though, and pretty much spills the beans. Tiffany and Josh break up. And I kind of felt let down by this whole thing because they almost felt anticlimactic to me.
Yeah,
it's like,
it did.
He gets there and it's like, yeah, we called it quits. We're leaving. It's like,
yeah. It ends up like a feel-good thing for everyone involved, but it does feel like it lacks some kind of because I guess if we were going against Josh, like really some comeuppance should have happened to him at least in some capacity.
it should have been something because I feel like it just ended nicely.
Yeah.
And it was like, you would think they've been childhood friends and lovers
Yeah.
here. You would have think we would have got maybe more of a fight. We really should have seen at least a little bit of that. And, once a cheater, always a cheater. Why does Beth want to be with this guy now? It's like, you almost
Yeah.
would have thought like both of the girls should have been like, you know what? Screw you, dude. We're not going to go with either one of you.
Yeah.
But it
Yeah.
all ends up working out for them in the end. He has to go back though to Ithaca for that exam, and I had to double check again. But they say we have 46 hours from, and it's 26 hours. But they say it again, 46 hours from Austin to Ithaca, and Ruben says I can teach Japanese to a monkey in 46 hours, and somehow I was kind of confused. I would have to rewatch it. I feel like he makes it to the thing, and I think it says like a couple minutes before the exam, and he runs in, and there was the bomb threat called, and you brought it up, Kyle. Shouldn't he have seen something outside?
Yeah. There was no one standing outside. No one. He goes in and has to find out and then he comes out and it's like everyone's outside.
Yeah, there's like police cars, fire
one.
trucks, helicopters. It's like
this
whole thing. But again, I don't know why like the bomb threat was called because I'm pretty sure he made it in time anyways.
Yeah.
So but Beth called it, and turns out she says, "I did good, right?" Which I don't know if
that's a weird line.
The Ithaca education.
Well, it's also like I did good, right? So you're like looking for acceptance from this. It's just weirdly gross to me.
Yeah.
It's just like a gross line. I did not like that.
No, but they kiss, the camera spins around, and it's all happily ever after, kind of, because this whole thing is kind of odd timeline wise again, where Tom Green during this part of the movie is a 7th year student, but then when he's telling this story, he's an 8th year student on the tour. But then they give us like where are they now type thing, and a lot of them are like some of them are like 6 months later, and then other ones feel like it was like 10 years later.
I know.
So it's just like I don't understand. But Beth and Josh are still dating, and it looks like they're making out, doing their own kind of videos in the library. I have to ask you, Kyle. I mean, this seems so far-fetched. I don't think they would ever do kind of like a softcore porn video in any kind of library at an Ithaca school.
Oh yeah, you don't think you've never...
that would never happen at Ithaca or Cornell. I don't think it would happen there either.
Mm-hmm.
But
and if you can't tell our sarcasm, people, because it happened. So
Yep.
Cornell girl. Yep. That happened.
Right. But yeah. So that one's happening 6 months from now, pretty much. And then the Ruben one is like he's making a special strain of pot that can be tested for, or can't be tested for. And that feels like that's 10 years later.
Yeah,
like
that feels forever. Yeah.
EL,
wasn't he High Times like Man of the Year?
Somehow. EL is still prostate milking. That's his thing. That's all we get for his update. Kyle ends up with Rhonda, and then the weird one we kind of get an update for the TA Jacob. He's a cult leader who tried to do a mass suicide, drink the Kool-Aid first, dies, and the rest of the followers don't. This is kind of not only really dark.
That's dark,
this is weird to get an update for him. Like,
Yep.
very specific. I don't know, but yeah. Any thoughts on the rest of the characters and where they end up? And
No, I just want to say, like, Seann William Scott gets typecast, but dude, he was a force in some
Yeah.
of those movies. Like
Definitely.
I would say he's probably one of the stars of this movie. Like, he
definitely.
holds the whole thing together. He takes a lot of the jokes. And I'm just looking at his IMDb, like around that time, I mean, he was typecast as hell, but he was in like all of those movies, it's crazy.
Yeah.
It's
What's his most
crazy.
recent, like, kind of big film? Like Role Models? That was even like 10 years ago, I feel like. I don't even know what his like big film recently has been.
He says he was in Super Troopers 2 in 2018.
Mm,
He's been doing Lethal Weapon, the TV series, or he
that's
did.
still on? I don't even know.
No, I think it's off.
Yeah.
But yeah, no. Yeah, I don't know, man. He's been doing a lot of small stuff, like Ice Age stuff.
Mm.
It looks like Super Troopers 2 is his latest, like, big one.
Yeah, well, I don't know.
His Role Models is 2008.
Oh, 2008. Wow.
Yeah, that's forever ago.
Oh, we're getting close on that anniversary. But yeah, so Road Trip here. Let's see. It did get some awards. It got some. The 2000 Stinkers Bad Movie Awards. Tom Green won Worst Supporting Actor and Most Unfunny Comic Relief for his role in both Road Trip and Charlie's Angels. The film also received a nomination for Oldest Looking Teenagers.
Oh, yeah.
But lost to Remember the Titans.
Well, okay.
There was a direct-to-DVD sequel called Road Trip Beer Pong. It came out in 2009 with only 2 original cast members returning, DJ Qualls as Kyle and Rhoda Griffiths as tour group mom.
Nice.
Tom
Green.
Yeah.
Tom Green gets with it. That's the strength. Tom Green is all over the place in this movie. I mean, I was dying laughing because it absolutely made no sense. I just feel like they just told Tom to do whatever he wanted, because that whole guitar thing is just that's crazy. It's just insane.
Yeah, I will admit though, there was parts of it that did get me.
Of course.
Oh man, you bring up a song here, and I got to bring up this. This is not from Road Trip, but I thought it was. I was all ready to talk about this. This is one of the reasons I did this. I'm like, okay, Road Trip. Got the Ithaca thing, kind of like I did a road trip. We have this song at the end. And then I realized this song is actually in Euro Trip. I was waiting for Scotty Doesn't Know.
Yeah, dude, that's Euro Trip. What?
I was all ready for it. I confused Road Trip and Euro Trip.
Didn't you know when the guy wasn't named, no one was named Scott?
Well, that's the thing. I'm like, I'm waiting because I knew Josh's name, but then for the longest time, I'm like, I didn't know Seann William Scott's name. I didn't know the names, and like, so it wasn't until like I was like, looking at the DVD when I got it, and I'm like reading it, and I'm like, Josh, Ruben, who's Scotty? Scotty doesn't know. I don't know who Scotty is, but I want to talk about it. I don't care. We're talking about this because I don't know when, if at all, we're ever gonna do Euro Trip.
Okay.
So Matt Damon sings "Scotty Doesn't Know."
I love how this is what. Okay.
What else we got going on?
Okay, sure.
So Matt Damon is singing this, and at first I figured, okay, this must have been just such like an early role. Like this must have been when he was just starting out in the industry. It's not even close. Not even close, because Euro Trip came out in 2004.
Yeah.
And at that point, he had Good Will Hunting in '97, Talented Mr. Ripley, Ocean's 11, and The Bourne Identity before all of that. So it's almost like, why are you? I know he does these cameos. I think he was in Thor Ragnarok and or maybe Deadpool too. No, I might be confusing that with Brad Pitt. But like Matt Damon will just do these random cameos. Why was he doing the Scotty Doesn't Know?
I don't know, but some people call it like one of the best cameos of all time, just with that song in general, because it does come out of nowhere. And I think it's like, oh
He
my
has
God.
like you're pretty much the Scotty doesn't know right now. The head shaved, just get you like a little lip ring and a tattoo, and you're set.
Oh
yeah.
man.
Taco. Let's see, Taco Chili here, best cameo ever.
Yeah. See, people talk about. I have not seen Euro Trip in full, so maybe I should need to go back and watch it. But
what are you doing? 2024. We'll do a 20-year anniversary
of Euro Trip.
Why not?
It's gonna be the same damn thing as this one.
Yeah. It has to be the same movie. I'm just surprised it took 4 years. Because I know it's not associated with this, but you would think like, Road Trip did pretty well. It was like 180 million on a 15 million budget. I think the DVD sales did really well. It took them 4 years to come up with let's go to Europe now for a road trip.
Yeah.
But
I don't know.
Because you really could have done, especially even though it would be 30 at that point, you could do the same cast again. Oh, it's their senior trip or something. It's a
senior trip. Yeah, I mean, you could have.
Well,
that would have been a good sequel, but they screwed that up.
Nope. Instead, they waited till 2009, 9 years later.
What?
For the Road Trip beer pong.
Oh my God. I didn't realize it was that long.
Yeah. And again, so we were just talking about the role models thing that came out 2008. So that means Seann William Scott is doing role models. Meanwhile, DJ Qualls is still doing Road Trip beer pong. So how old is Kyle now? Or DJ Qualls in this?
Yeah. Oh my God. That's sad.
Yeah.
That's really sad when you think about it.
Really sad. But I don't know. Is that it? Is that all we got from Road Trip? And I guess Euro Trip. Is there anything we want to keep going with Euro Trip?
Well, I think we're so done with Road Trip that you had to bring up Euro Trip. So
yeah. I will say this will be a solid hour this time. We didn't do the 90 minutes to 2 hours that we do normally when we talk about movies. If you did enjoy this, I would say check out the other 4 movies we've done. Ghostbusters, Back to the Future, Ferris Bueller's Day Off, Die Hard. They're all there on YouTube, youtube.com/Dual Redundancy, the blog, dualredundancy.com, iTunes, of course. A lot of fun breaking down the movie scene by scene, character by character. I have a few more ideas of future ones, maybe even a holiday edition. But we got a long time until we get there. Next week, we will have 2 other movies to talk about, though. 2 new releases. Spike Lee's Defy Bloods, that's coming out on Netflix. And then The King of Staten Island from Pete Davidson. It's coming out to video on demand. We'll take a look at those 2 films. But then the week after, we'll be back to talking about television, where we're going to talk about HBO's Perry Mason starring Matthew Rhys. A lot to do. Make sure you never miss an episode. Go to Facebook, go to Twitter at Dual Redundancy. And again, you can find episodes on YouTube, iTunes, Spotify, the blog. And of course, we are live Tuesday nights on Twitch, twitch.tv/Dual Redundancy, usually 8 p.m. Join us there in the chat. It's a lot of fun. I want to thank both you guys for watching it. I think, John, did you have to pay for Road Trip?
I did, yeah.
Oh boy.
Oh boy.
My receipts are in the mail, but you never seem to send any money back. It's been how many years?
Do you have the right address?
This is what the 10th year anniversary or something of us doing this?
It's Austin, not Boston. Austin.
Yeah. You got to put it in your tax deduction.
Austin, dude. Massachusetts. Gotcha.
Yes, exactly. But again, thank both of you guys for doing this, and again to John for getting this episode up on iTunes. Couldn't do without you guys. But yeah.
Woo!
All right. Until next time, I'm David Allen.
I'm John Berwick.
And I'm Kyle Bridger.
And that's all we got for Dual Redundancy's look at the 20-year anniversary of Road Trip. Goodbye, everybody.